It's not just about what looks good on film, it's what looks good when they go out and play. Hey, I'm Steve Leo. I'm a master trainer for Parisi Speed School. Also been with the company for about 25 years now. And I got into the sports performance industry out of college. I was an exercise science major. Started personal training in the beginning and didn't love working with the adults and started training some kids and athletes and realized that's where my passion was. So I really enjoyed working with them and seeing them perform on a field or a court. I think some of the fears were, I didn't know if I knew what I was doing. I think that was the biggest thing. There wasn't a lot out there about 20, 30 years ago when it came to sports performance. So back then it was VCR tapes and manuals if you could get your hands on them. And I was lucky enough to link up with Bill Parisi, who was definitely a pioneer in this industry. And together we did a lot of research and going to clinics and seminars and meeting with other strength coaches. And really that's what helped formulate our brand and our systems that we use today. So I think that helped me. I definitely didn't know a lot back then. I realize it now. So I try to impose that on younger coaches, that it's okay to admit you may not know everything and learn along the way. And I'm still learning to this day. It is a business. I think sometimes people think it's just about training athletes, and that's obviously the huge part of it. But you have to have a little bit of a business sense and understanding that you have to build your own business. Nowadays it's about building your brand and things like that, but understanding that, number one, what you need to do to build that business, like outreach, going out to games or going to clinics or making phone calls. Sometimes that's not always the most comfortable thing for a lot of coaches to do. So it took me a little while to get used to that. And public speaking, I did not like public speaking at all, which is funny because coaching is public speaking. I didn't really understand that at the time, but I was kind of forced into it in a good way, and now I feel much more confident than I was before. My best advice for new trainers is don't be afraid to make the mistakes, like we talked about earlier, and do what you know and do that very well. I think now there's so much information, I think some coaches get confused and they're trying to do so many things at once. And I know it sounds very cliche, but the basics do work. So if kids are 14 years old that you're training, they probably don't have great running technique, they probably don't have great lifting technique yet, and try to master that first, get them to understand it. And then you can throw in other things to challenge them or try to have fun, because I think that's a part of it. The kids need to have fun. I think they need to compete too in the sessions with you. It has to be gamified, so to speak. But don't be afraid to make mistakes with them as well, and just make sure that they understand the basics, because I think if you do too much with a young kid, they're not going to get any benefit from it, right? It's not just about what looks good on film, it's what looks good when they go out and play on the field or the court. And at the end of the day, when parents see that, they're going to be your best customers, because they're going to give you a lot of referrals, because now they see their kid performing better out on the field. When they're on the field or the court, it doesn't really matter what exercise they did. Nobody knows, right? They just know that kid just ran a lot faster and scored a touchdown. I think the most satisfying part is just the reactions of the kids and the success of the kids. It really warms my heart to see how well they've done. I've had kids from 7 years old all the way through college. And just the fact that they say thank you, that you helped them along their journey, is the best reward for me. I wasn't a collegiate athlete. I wasn't this great athlete in high school. I played varsity sports, but the fact that I could be connected with that and know that I helped them, and I'm still friends with a lot of them to this day. I've gone to weddings and christenings and bar mitzvahs and things like that. So I think having that connection, that I'm part of their family, and I really help them achieve whatever goals that they had, whether it be just making varsity or playing at the highest level, I think that's been the most rewarding thing that I can probably never put a price tag on.